Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. I just want to go back to a video which sort of coincides with why have people stopped talking. This is from Little Mrs. Vodka. Let's have a quick listen.
Come out and basically said that he's received new information on why it is that Jay left the apartment scared and did not want to carry on charging his phone. He said that in the last couple of days he's received a significant information in which he's contacted Spanish and British police about this, and this would explain the reason. Basically, he's got information as to why Jay didn't want to go back to the apartment. Apparently, allegedly, this is what the news article is saying. In the last couple of days as well, which is kind of strange, because obviously that it's been quiet, hasn't it? It's been quiet. We haven't heard nothing in the last couple of days, so either he's actually got information, or he's trying to spook some people. I'm leaning on the fact that he's got genuinely significant information as to why he was scared to go back to the apartment. So I guess we'll have to wait and see till that comes out. What do you guys think it will be? Why he was scared to go back? Something to do with the Airbnb man, or maybe the second guy? Maybe.
Interesting. That was from Little Miss Vodka. She was on the case very, very early on. My point is the online private detective MWT Mark, he didn't really come out. Was he just fishing for more information? Because he seemed to know a lot, and we never really heard anything after 2 or 3 of his interviews, and then he went back to England and absolutely nothing. Also Dan the Rapids, who done a great job, got nothing against Dan the Rapids, but he got out of there pretty quick, where I believe he was being watched or even threatened, but he didn't really give a report in why he disappeared so quickly out of there. We then move on to Chris and Luggy. Luggy says that he had some important information which he wants to share, but it can't come out now. Is it because they know that there's too many criminal activities on the island, and it would be dangerous for him to talk? Ayub had said the same lines, that he couldn't say too much. I think in a conversation online, along those lines anyway. There was another TikToker, I forgot his name, but actually he was on the case, and he was threatened, a lot of online threats, and actually absolutely got out of there. And then we've got Dan, the YouTuber, apparently Dan O'Keefe. He does radio, and he's not said a word since he come out and said that he had a video on Jay Slater. So my point with Mark, Dan the Rapids, Chris, Luggy, Ayub, Rocky, the TikToker Dan, they're definitely afraid of something. Definitely afraid of something. And I think sort of the last subjects we've been talking about, young people being exploited, I think that could be part of it, or a bigger network which YouTubers and sleuths and private detectives are on the case, to be honest with you, and won't give her up until we actually get justice for Jay Slater. What I've learned in sort of going back to the 90s, and even before that, some of the cases are absolutely horrendous, and it just makes you think. Some of the people that were interviewed that technically look after missing bodies and keep them on file, and said, people haven't come forward, and so they ended up burying people. They don't know who they even are, which is incredible. So this has been happening for years. But I think the Jay Slater going missing, I think it opened a can of worms in for us to look into deeply into what's really happening over there. I don't think it's a safe person for vulnerable young people or people who are looking to earn a lot of money fast. And it sounds like to me there are a lot of underage people involved in this business, and they're taught how to think like a criminal, act like a criminal, able to lie, able to transform themselves into not caring or being accountable for anything, which is really, really, really sad. It makes you wonder sometimes where Mark got all this information from. Was it, from Ayub and Lucy and Brad to try and maybe get Mark to think, look, I'm happy and comfortable with what I've been told? Or, like I said, it seems like to me he knew that it was mafia related and got himself on the island because he thought it was too dangerous. I certainly know down the rapids, I think Chris and Luggy know a lot more, but they're tight-lipped because, does Chris live there? And I think Luggy goes out there or got a boat out there or something. So I've heard. We know that Ayub have got ties in Tenerife. The TikToker that did go out there in the early days was closed down very quickly. And like I said, Dan, we've not heard from him. Like I said, I hope he's safe. And like I said, we hope that he does eventually come out and apologise to the family and then to the public. But it's one of the most strangest cases I've come across, because the people who we want to talk, who I think know a little bit more, have just completely shut off and technically are trying to move on with their lives and the different things, even those who were involved as well. Let me know what you think, because I think crucial information in this case is crucial, and we just don't want to give up yet. I think this was what we're about to hear. Then I just think it was a narrative to sabotage the way the public think, honestly do. So what our friend said here is that basically that Jay was afraid of something, and Mark actually said the same thing. And obviously Ayub's story, Lucy said something about it, which is quite odd. But I just think that this was just a narrative for us to believe, because it sounded right that he was scared, and it went across. Obviously, if we didn't know Ayub was actually involved, I think basically a lot of people could have got away with murder here. But I'm just going to go back through this again.
Phone calls that were made to Jay that have been confirmed by the authorities to have definitely been made. So this is facts. 3 friends spoke to him while he was making this walk. Now, information received by the investigator suggests that he was scared to go back to the Airbnb and said that he could not go back. So naturally, it doesn't take a fucking genius to think that the 2 dudes he was with, he did not feel comfortable around. Or that someone was arriving at that location and he didn't want to be there to be around.
Totally. I honestly don't believe he was ever at the Airbnb. I just think it was a massive thing for Ophelia, the manager of the Airbnb, to actually say that she saw Jay walking up the hill, because I think the police saw him walking up the hill, and I believe that the police, Guardia Civil, had gone along with that, because obviously she's a local there. Because I think if she hadn't said anything or got involved, I think the 2 guys, Ayub and Rocky, may have been arrested, and who else was there. But it is one of the strangest cases I've actually come across. And isn't it funny how the people that involved Lucy, I did a video on that where she's actually come out and said I did everything to save Jay, and it's not my fault, and why people are having a go at me. It's because you're not telling the truth. Brandon, who's never ever said a word, and his mother turned around and said that he's actually talking to the police. Brad, completely silent. I know people said that they may have saw him online, made a quick appearance, then went off again. But surely they must know now that why aren't people giving it up? And you heard a few people say who were involved, who we think that are involved. At the end of the day, that is getting boring now. It is for them. You know, it's not for us, but it is for them. At the end of the day, because like I said, we want justice for Jay Slater. He went on holiday for 3 days. We know that he wasn't perfect, no one is, but like I said, to go on holiday for 3 days and your friends just leave you to your own devices is just unbelievable, and it still doesn't make actually sense to me. And those 3 phone calls, actually someone messaged and said at the end of the day, there would be, if they made those calls, there would be evidence from O2 that those phone calls were made. So I wonder if the police actually checked that, or just said they did check it and they didn't. To me, what it seems like, to let Rocky and Ayub go, that they're nothing to do with the investigation. That was really quick. Nothing was ever said about it. The phone that Jay lost was also very, very vague as well. It was supposedly found and wiped, and no evidence on it, which is pretty strange. And there was someone who actually came on TikTok and said that if he had that phone, he could try and get all the information off that phone. It's like I've always said in this case, timing, video evidence to track someone is very, very, very important. And it was weird that a massive festival was going ahead and the police haven't got any video evidence in what happened outside the club. There was a video not long ago, I think Joseph Morris put it out there, and it was a guy talking about that he saw Jay being taken away. He looked hurt and taken away by 2 people. I don't know how true that is, but you would have thought a lot of people, if there was a fight or some kind of altercation outside, you would have thought there would have been more videos up on that. So I'm kind of skeptical in what this guy was actually saying. But I mean, he was talking with a lot of, you know, like he knew what was actually going out. But that's just one person. If 3 or 4 person that actually came forward, we'd understand a lot more into what happened to Jay. And also the beach videos, I think they've gone a little bit quiet. I think some of them could have been something to do with the case, like Lucy shouting something like, I didn't think that he would get stabbed. Maybe it could have been after Jay was taken away and she was talking to actually someone, or, you know, get quack quack, which we believe that was Ayub at the time. So there's still a lot of questions in this case. Will we ever get justice for Jay? I'm not sure at this present moment. I think it really, really needs someone who was there or has more evidence, concrete evidence, to actually get convictions. This is what I think. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment and follow the channel. Thank you.